Dynamic Entry, welcome back to the channel, guys, or should I say all aboard this wonderful vessel here, aka our channel. Welcome in, and yes, today I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts / review of Season 2 of live action One Piece. So, as the title of the video suggests, yes, I'm not a fan of the One Piece anime. Not in the fact that, like, I'm gonna despise you if you like it, just the fact that, like, for me, it's become a meme, like, just to say I don't like One Piece. Although, at this point, yeah, I guess I am kind of a fan of what I've seen within, like, recap videos or, like, you know, the One Piece card game, I play that. So I have a respect for it, even though I've never officially, like, watched, like, the entirety of the show. Back in the day, when it was airing here, the American dub, I was watching, like, the first 2 arcs, I guess, first 2 seasons, pretty much where this season ends of One Piece. That's as far as I got in the anime, and from then I've only seen clips and I've like watched recap videos of like what's happening currently. So yes, not a fan in the traditional sense, but this show, however, I really do like. So when the first season came out, I gave that a chance because I had heard like decent reviews saying, hey, this is actually not bad for being a live action, adaptation of an anime. And for those of you who do know, it's notoriously hard to make a like one-for-one good adaptation of anime. So this is kind of like a rarity. So I was like, you know what, let me just check it out just to see what it's like. And despite everything and all the flaws that I'd seen in season 1, I enjoyed everything that I had seen. The biggest shortcomings for me in the first season was just like the budget of it. You can tell that they kind of had to cut corners in certain places, and like they can only use their budget for certain big action set pieces. So for me, that was like the biggest, like, oh, okay, you can kind of tell this is a little bit like cheesy and held back a little bit. And I had my doubts as far as like what I knew was gonna happen in the story. So seeing the first season, I was like, it's cool, but like they can only go so far with what they have, and maybe they can get like a season 2 out of this and see, where it goes from there. Little did I know that this thing would explode over the entirety of that season, and then the subsequent years that has passed since the release of it, and the anticipation for season 2 had just grown over those years. People were just praising it, and they were enjoying it, despite, like I mentioned earlier, the flaws in like the budget, and sometimes the writing could be a little bit corny or cheesy. But overall, people really did enjoy it, and I could safely say that yes, I thoroughly enjoyed season 1. So when season 2 finally dropped last week, I binged the whole thing within like 2 days, just because the way time worked. And I would have did it all one night, but didn't have enough time. And I was hooked from the first episode. And again, all of my opinions of this show are coming from somebody who has not thoroughly watched the One Piece anime. I've seen the critiques from anime fans who have little nitpicky complaints about everything in the show, and they're saying like, oh, this is trash. But for me, my opinion is going to be only based in the fact that I'm a fan of the live action adaptation. So my knowledge and love for it comes from that that portion of the show. So right away, you could tell that this season stepped it up with the budget, the success of the last season. It's good to see them putting that all into the show and making it bigger and grander than what it was, because in this first episode, we get to see characters like Smoker come to life, and I never thought we'd see something that would look that cool. The effects of it, they nailed it. Luffy using his, Gum power looked a lot cooler. The fight scenes were a lot bigger and grander, and you can just see from the sets too, in just the first episode, that we're in for a big treat here, and that they were using all their funds appropriately. And we were getting reports before the show aired of like casting choices. We got David Dastmalchian, is that how you say his last name? Polka Dot Man. That was like crazy cool because, if you know him as an actor, he's really good at what he does. He plays a certain type of character really well, so that was a big casting for them. And then the guy who plays Crocodile, Joe Manganiello, whatever the hell his name is. I call him Joe Mandime because he's a man dime, a hot guy basically. So him playing Crocodile was also like more like big casting news, because we're like, oh damn, we're getting like actual like big time actors. It wasn't just like undiscovered people. Like the last season, all the people who play the Straw Hat Crew were all kind of like relatively unknown. You might have seen the girl who plays Nami in a couple things, but for the most part, everybody was just like new actors. We'd never seen them before, and I think that worked really well for them. So seeing that more established actors are coming to this, and especially with the fact that we almost had Jamie Lee Curtis playing the doctor lady for Chopper's whatever her name is, Dr. Kuraha or whatever the hell. And then we, so she was rumored to play something. And then we got the dude from Cobra Kai, Miguel. He's playing Ace in the next season. So we're getting bigger and better castings. But also, all that to say that this season was already stepping up going into it. Like all the stuff that we had anticipated and we're seeing, we're letting us know that season 2 was going to be good. And we've been seeing that Oda was approving every little decision being made. So seeing that come to life in this season and in the first episode, I was like, damn, it really was paying off, everything that we had seen. And this is one of the first series that I felt immersed in, like the world, in a really long time. I kind of give my like immersion comparison, like what I base it off of, is Harry Potter. If it feels like you're in a world like Harry Potter, I think that you're doing something well. Like Pirates of the Caribbean was another one that felt very immersive. Like this world was its own thing. And this live action One Piece, you could feel like this is a whole different thing. All the sets were crazy, the costumes were amazing, and just like the casting choices that they made have seemed to be a lot like their anime counterparts. So the immersion of it, the CGI budget of it, the effects that they're pulling off was just like blowing my mind in just the first episode. Like right away I was like, oh damn, this is like something different. This is really like special, that the fact that we're getting something like this and it's on a relatively consistent basis so far. It's only been like 2 years since the last season, or 3 years I guess since the last season, and then we're getting the next one probably next year. So like they're pushing them out pretty consistently. They're not like, Netflix style that they've been doing lately where they're like one season and then like 4 years later another season, like Stranger Things. So it was fun to marvel at all of that. But then as the season progressed, we got to see a lot of cool characters come into play, and I think that this first couple arcs of One Piece work really well for like introducing somebody into the show and kind of like showing how the world works and all these characters and how different they are. Like the Baroque works aspect of it, I think that's like really clever and like a really good way to like get someone's attention, like me, who was kind of a casual at this, getting them hooked. Like, oh, there's like so many weird and cool, kooky characters. Like, what else are we gonna see next? And like the introductions, like the title cards of each Baroque works member was really cool. Just them like pushing away their title card and just showing like how their costumes look just like the anime. It's crazy. So everybody who was in Baroque works that we saw, I think they did a really good job with, and the fact that they were able to expand upon like certain characters. I think Miss Golden Week, the little girl, is that her name? The painting lady. I guess in the anime she didn't really get like that big of like a tragic backstory. So them adding more characters into characters that people already knew and giving them a new wrinkle in their character, I think that's really cool. And then being able to make characters like Laboon come to life and making it look as cool as it did, but also as touching as it was, like I almost teared up, and I'm not even a fan of the fucking anime, right? Just like seeing the love that Laboon had for the crew and like being serenaded by Brook, thought that was very nice. And there were just like so many moments like that in this series where you just like felt like, oh man, this is pretty good. I can see why people might like this, like the anime, and why it's so beloved. And like the Chopper backstory, of course, like another like emotional beat where you're like, oh man, this is crazy. So even if you didn't feel like a certain way about like Laboon or like maybe Miss Golden Week's story, is that her name? I feel bad for saying that. Anyway, her backstory, any of that stuff, you'd find an emotional beat within the series that you might resonate with and that you might feel a certain way about. Like, oh damn, that was okay. It's starting to get me now. So seeing it has just like made it even better. And I think if I was like a bigger fan of the anime, I might not enjoy it as much just because I know kind of what happens. So for me, all of this is pretty fresh, and seeing like new takes on stuff that I might have already known, I thought was really cool, and just felt like, or I guess it added to the experience of the show and making it feel more like magical and grand than what it is. And it's funny hearing people say like, oh, they shouldn't have shown this, like this is too early, or this is too soon. And I think that it's been working for me. Like I don't have a problem with it. I guess like you might be too used to the anime's pacing to where you're like not being able to see that like, hey, the casual audience doesn't want to see 20 episodes of just one character's little backstory, or like this side character, the reason he did this or whatever. No, you can make it a clear, concise story, and I think it's working the way that they're doing it. And I saw somebody say on a comment section like, oh, this is as if Oda remade the first couple of arcs of One Piece, but like did it in the way that he wanted to do it, knowing where the story went. So he's able to cut and like move things around to where it makes more sense within the story. Like the Bartholomew guy, apparently he's not shown in the anime in that first little interaction he has, but it is mentioned later on that he was there the whole time, and that's why he loves Luffy so much. So stuff like that where they're kind of connecting all of the story at once, I think is helping a lot. And I think when the finished product comes out, like, after it all ends, I think it's going to make for a better paced series, because that's the biggest thing with a lot of people who aren't into One Piece, is the fact that you have to watch so many episodes, and that's why they invented a fucking website, One Piece, where you can just cut different episodes and follow a different, pacing of the story. So you don't have to watch all these episodes. You can kind of follow the story and get the main beats at like a faster rate. So that's cool that the live action is doing that, like allowing people to stay engaged and blow through the story, but in like a good way, to where you're getting the important details that you need to make the story make sense for you. And of course, the actors themselves, the main Straw Hat crew, they've all stepped their game up a lot. I think last season, like they were cool in some parts, and like some of them were like doing really well. Like Nami, she's been really good, and Usopp, he's been good too. But seeing them evolve in their role more, like Iñaki playing Luffy, I think he's getting a lot better. I've heard a lot of complaints about it too, and the fact that he's playing him kind of weird, or like the writing's kind of weird. I just think that maybe One Piece fans are realizing that Luffy is kind of a goofy guy, and seeing him in real life, you might be annoyed by him. But the fact that he's an anime character, you're like, oh, I love him. So, hey, listen, your guys' goat might just be like that in real life, so you should get used to it. And seeing Zoro's actor kind of become less like, oh yeah, like brooding, and become more like open and loving, and I guess like nailing the Zoro character more, because again, that's another complaint that I've been seeing, is that like, hey, Zoro is not this serious. Like, he's serious, but he's also like kind of lighthearted a little bit at times. And the guy who plays Sanji, seeing him, his character change from being such a big perv to being just kind of like a casual flirt, I'm enjoying that. But again, I've been seeing anime fans complaining about the fact that he's not exactly one for one, which I think is cool, because I think if they, made him one for one as he is in the anime, a lot of people probably would not like him. I guess he could wear more suits though. That's a big complaint, and he could smoke a little bit more. But overall, I think the Straw Hat crew has been nailing their parts, and it's cool to see them grow into it and become more comfortable with the role themselves. So I've been loving them. And then like the new Straw Hats that we're getting, like Robin, she did a really good job of just being like cool and mysterious. And then we got Chopper, of course, just being like a little goofball, whatever. And just overall, everybody around the cast has been really doing a really good job. And they're all good looking. How is this the hottest cast ever? Guys, girls, animated characters, all of them. Hey, listen, I'm just saying. So yeah, I don't have any really big complaints about the season. I think it's done a really great job of adapting something so grand and huge, and doing a really good job at it. Like, the reviews have all been pretty positive, except for a few nitpicky anime fans, like I mentioned. But overall, I had no big complaints about it. Some of the CGI could use a little bit of work. Yeah, I know, like the big scene right now is where Luffy's kicking a bunch of wax figures, and the effect of it looks kind of silly. Listen, it's a Netflix show at the end of the day. The budget's not quite there yet, but I do anticipate them getting a more of a budget because of the success of it. Look at Stranger Things. The first season compared to like the new season, how big and grand it got just because of how big the show became. They're going to get the budget. I think that this is doing well enough to where Netflix is probably like, okay, we got to go all in on this, and just whatever they want, here's a fucking open checkbook. Do what you got to do and make it look good. And they've been doing that. This season they stepped it up hugely. So that's probably like the biggest complaint. And then Wapol. I hate that guy. But he did a good job, because I think you're supposed to hate him, right? That was like another complaint that I had, is that he just annoyed me to no end. But overall, I have no complaints about the show. It's been great, and I mentioned earlier, it's been so immersive that I just want to go back to the world already. Like, I want them to come out with season 3 tomorrow if they could. I would get another 8 episodes and then give you another 8 hours of my life. I don't mind it. This is a live action done right, and if it didn't have an anime adaptation attached to it, would I still enjoy it more? Or would I still enjoy it, and would people also enjoy it? I think so. I think it could have stood on its own as its own show. I think it's that good that, like, this could have been an original idea and people would have liked it. And yeah, it's been interesting to kind of just fall in love with the world as someone who did not watch the anime. So yeah, I think it is overall good for One Piece as a whole that people are liking the show, because it's going to bring in a lot more people like me who would never really care to watch the the anime. People who just want to just be able to watch something in one sitting. All those people are people who are just like, oh, I've always wanted to get into it, but I couldn't really do it because there's too many episodes. this is perfect for you. And for season 3, I'm looking forward to it. I know we got Ace, like I mentioned earlier, the dude who plays Miguel in Cobra Kai. So I like him as an actor. I think he'll do a good job as Ace. And then there was a few more castings that we had gotten. We got a Bon Clay actor. That was cool. And then I think there was like another Baroque Works member. Anyway, I hope that they keep casting cool names, like big names here and there. Like, I do like the fact that they're getting kind of unknown people to fill out the roster, giving them a chance and making them become household names. But I do think that they should get, you know, like a bigger name every couple of story arcs here and there. And yeah, I don't know where it's going to end. I heard that Oda has a place in mind that he wants the live action to end. But I don't know where it goes from here. You have things to worry about. You got to worry about the characters aging out of their roles. You got to worry about budgets, because I know that some of the fights later on in the series gets bigger and grander. You might not be able to do it with the Netflix budget, although you might get an unlimited budget. But there's still some things that you might be held back by. So I don't know. I've been hearing that they might end it with Skypiea. I've been hearing that they could end it at after the Alabasta arc, which is the next big arc or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think the biggest thing that they could do is like the time skip thing. So, you know, if you've seen the anime, you're aware of it. There's a big time skip that happens. For those who aren't, that kind of skips forward a couple years, so they can get to that point and then just not do the rest of it. So I don't know how many seasons they're gonna do. Maybe they'll do the classic community rule, 6 seasons in a movie. Whatever they do, I think they'll be fine. I think they got the budget now. They got the fan base. Netflix is gonna throw money at it. Hey man, continue doing what you're doing. We're enjoying it. We like what we've been seeing. So yeah, you can have whatever you want. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the One Piece live action season 2. I'm a fan. All right, I love this thing. I'm not afraid to know who knows it. Consider me the biggest One Piece hater, a fan now, at least of the live action show. So those are my thoughts on the One Piece show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little review here, and whatever you feel about the show itself, you can let me know down below in the comments. If you loved it, if you hated it, if you're indifferent, whatever it is, let me know down below and I will reply to you. We can have a good conversation about this. And if you want to subscribe as well, we appreciate that. We are finally at 650 subscribers. Let's try to get to 700 and then 1,000 maybe. Who knows? We'll keep on growing. So thank you guys for watching, and follow us also down below in the links, all that stuff. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, go find the One Piece.